What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome to the first episode of our brand new rebuild series titled Retro Rebuilds, where we are taking and getting a hold of this Madden 2002 mod for Madden 19, and we're going to be, for right now, just because there's two draft classes, going to be doing some nice, easy, digestible 3-year rebuilds, and I felt like, what better team to start off with than the expansion team from that 2002 season, the Houston Texans. So for those of you that don't know how the expansion draft worked, roughly every team in the National Football League told the Texans, here are 5 players you can pick from. And not all teams would just say, here are 5 worst players. Pretty much it was a good way for already established teams to get rid of guys that were getting paid way too much money. The Houston Texans then had to build their team up off that roster. And then we had the 2002 draft, which the Houston Texans, with the first overall pick, selected this man, brother of current Raiders quarterback Derek Carr, David Carr. And David Carr was a first-round pick out of Fresno State, very similar to his brother. They pretty much came along the same path. And ultimately, how David Carr's career is remembered is that of a bust, because the offensive line for the Houston Texans in his first season was maybe, on record, one of the worst offensive lines in history. He was sacked as much as like any rookie quarterback ever. So that's going to be interesting to see what we can do with him, what we can do with this roster, as we are starting with a 72 overall team, 73 offense, 75 defense. Now, this is right around when I first started getting into football. I would have been 10 years old when this game would have came out, Madden 2002. Aaron Glenn, the corner, they got him in the expansion draft from the Jets. They got Jamie Sharper, who's definitely one of the, both these guys are legends amongst Houston Texan fans. Jamie Sharper, 92 overall. He came over from the Baltimore Ravens. I think up until a couple years ago, he was the all-time leading tackler for them. We got Chris Brown, the kicker, who was there for quite some time. David Carr. Like I said, even me, man, I don't remember a whole lot of these names. Jabbar Gaffney was a second-round draft pick in that 02 draft from my Florida Gators. I'm pretty sure, I thought they had Tony Baselli, but I know he had a lot of injuries, so he might not have actually ever taken the field here for the Houston Texans. I know that Gary Walker was the only Pro Bowler on that roster, on that 3-4 front. Seth Payne, somewhat familiar to me. Aaron Glenn obviously was a baller. That's pretty much it. I mean, you guys, some out there, if you're a Texan fan, or maybe you're a little bit older than me, you may know some of these names. But ultimately, I figured if we're going to be starting this 02 retro throwback franchise series, whatever you want to call it, I felt like let's go with the team that was the worst team in the roster and see what we can do through 3 years with the Houston Texans, from their first year in existence all the way to, that would be 2006. So let's go and see if we can somehow, some way salvage David Carr's career and maybe make a playoff run with the Houston Texans. So looking at our first draft class that we are working with here, there's definitely a couple names that are going to be interesting for us. Obviously, we don't need a quarterback right away because we just drafted David Carr. But trying to look at players that they actually drafted from that 03 draft class. The biggest name was Andre Johnson, the wide receiver from Miami, and I'm going to try my best to bring him in. Like, obviously, we could finesse and get some guys that we know that were absolute steals, or we could try our best to stay along the curve of what the Houston Texans actually did. I'm going to try to find a middle ground between that, but it is paramount for me to bring in Andre Johnson. That's one of the big reasons why I also choose the Houston Texans to go first, because Andre Johnson, debatably, pound for pound, might be my favorite wide receiver of all time. At the halfway point of year number 1, we are a measly 1-6. I guess the worse that we do, the better draft pick, obviously, that we're going to get in terms of a big-name player that we already know. And we actually did get that Week 7 victory, 28-25, so it is somewhat fresh. Maybe that Week 7 victory is going to be enough to propel us down the stretch. But I can say right now, David Carr is developing pretty nice. So we might have something special here at quarterback, and the rest hopefully can help us out. In regards to that draft class, I actually kind of took a sneak peek at the 2003 Houston Texans draft class, and outside of Andre Johnson, they absolutely shit the bed with the rest of the picks. Like, literally, only name I remember somewhat is Dominic Davis, the running back they got in the 4th round. Everyone else, garbage. So it's not like we have a whole lot that we have to try to go up against. Really, we can go all in on the draft, and even if we hit a bunch of stinkers, still probably better than what the Texans did in real life. Taking a look at contracts, we pretty much have to retain any player that is good on our roster because it is that bad. We do have a just godly amount of salary cap here, $156 million, so that's a good starting point. So Gary Walker and Jamie Sharper, absolutely. We have McKinney here, is 27. Now that's a little bit different. You got to keep it in the back of your heads that it's only a 3-year rebuild, not a 5-year rebuild. So pretty much anyone that's under the age of 30 is going to be a valuable playmaker for us down the stretch. So we will come back with Marcus Coleman. We got Chris Brown here at kicker. I mean, usually I don't go out of my way to extend a kicker. Definitely don't go out of my way to. I'll give them 2 different offers, but I mean, we just gotta keep the best players in house. Kevin Williams is not bad, 77. Will he take the offer? Yes, he will. Chester Pitts is without a doubt our best offensive lineman. We'll get him locked up. Other than that, though, let's start trimming some fat here on this Houston Texans roster so we can go all in a massive free agency period upcoming this offseason. At the end of year number 1, we actually finished worse than the Texans did in real life in their debut year. They actually went 4-12. We unfortunately went 3-13, which puts us as the winless Detroit Lions have that number 1 overall pick. We get number 2. I still think we're going to definitely be in play for Andre Johnson. I think without a doubt that is the player that we're going to want to get. Taking a look here at the stats, Mr. David Carr, I mean, that's also a little bit better than what he did in real life, and he wasn't sacked as much. I'm pretty sure, man, he got sacked like 80 sometimes. It was ridiculous. But 3,100 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 16 picks. It's a rough start to a career. Jonathan Wells was their leading rusher. On the receiving front, we had Corey Bradford, 81 catches, 977 and 5. Jabbar Gaffney, 55 catches for a rookie. That's all right. The defensive side, Jamie Sharper was huge, 128 tackles, 5 TFLs, 5 sacks, and 2 picks. Led the team in sacks. Marcus Coleman had 5 interceptions. Not bad. I thought that would definitely be the kind of territory that Aaron Glenn would be in. Quick look at the yearly awards. Amon Green got himself the MVP award. Some pretty ridiculous names there, if I do say so myself. We're not going to probably be on any of these lists. AFC Offensive Player of the Year went to Rich Gannon. We had nobody. Defensive Player of the Year went to Ray Lewis. We had nobody. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Jay Fielder. Corey Bradford coming in at number 3. Jabbar Gaffney at 6. Jajuan. That's a pretty dope name. Dawson at 7. Wow, Carr didn't even make it. Embarrassing. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Old Man London Fletcher. Jay Foreman coming in at 4. Okay. We had some nice productive rookies, but now we got well over $100 million worth of salary cap to try and attract some big money free agents this upcoming offseason, as well as the 2nd overall pick in the 2003 draft. Here in free agency, it is time to spend, so we're looking right away. First up with Plaxico Burress. For many of you probably remember during his time with the New York Giants, big reason why of those Giant Super Bowls, the big game over the Patriots. He's 26, he's 91. He is a big-time outside possession wide receiver, so he would be obviously an ideal weapon to have right there with Andre Johnson, if that isn't in fact who we select during the draft. We got Deltha O'Neal, who I remember vaguely being a member of the Cincinnati Bengals, but he would be a very nice corner, and that gives us the option now with kind of 3 undersized corners if we can lock him down to move 1 to safety. We have Dexter Jackson, who I feel like I want to say was the Super Bowl MVP during when the Bucs won it. But yeah, really good free safety. We're gonna try to overbid the Jets here to get him in as our starter. We got Nate Wayne, who if we get him, we'll slide him over to left outside linebacker, and then we just got 2 offensive linemen here in Langston Walker and Eric Heitman. God damn it, you selected Andre Johnson right away. It's already ruining my thumbnail. I mean, to top it all off, we didn't even get Plaxico Burress in free agency, so I don't know how much help we're going to be able to give. I know Charles Rogers was a bust, and I'm going to assume he'll probably be a bust here. So knowing that, I mean, maybe, we got Anquan Bolden here. Maybe we can get him in the 2nd round. He might be, considered a reach and already gone by that point. I mean, the offensive line is not the greatest, but understanding that there's still some generational players. We got, obviously, T. Sizzle. We got some corners here that could help us out a little bit. But ultimately, I kind of don't want to reach for players. Like, if we know a guy's going to be good, like, for example, like, if we need a safety and we know Troy Polamalu is good, we're going to get him in the 1st round. But let's say, I don't know, who's someone that's really good that we know it's going to slip a little bit here. Okay, for example, Charles Tillman. If we needed a corner and we're in the first round and Charles Tillman's in the second round, we're not going to use that pick on Charles Tillman. Like, we're going to try and keep it to if there's a player that we know, like Asante Samuel, if he's still there in the fourth round, we'll get him. So that being said, understanding the strengths and weaknesses of this team, I think right now we are in the scenario that we need to just go straight up best player available for our roster. And for me, looking at it, I think we gotta get more pressure. We're gonna get T Sizzle. We're gonna select Terrell Suggs, outside linebacker, fits our 3-4 defense, 80 star dev playmaker. Welcome to the team, second overall in the 2003 draft. Because of course we can't have nice things, and the Lions took Andre Johnson. Second round, all right, we're here in the second round. It's pretty simple. We're going to take Larry Johnson, who was a very good running back for the Kansas City Chiefs for quite some time. All of his stats look good. We don't even have a starting running back at this point, and he is an 80-star dev player, 90 speed, 92 acceleration, got great trucking, great stiff arm, a power back with some speed to him. So we didn't get everyone we wanted in free agency, but we had a very good draft, all things considered, even though we couldn't get Andre Johnson. We got Terrell Suggs here in the first round, 80 overall star dev. Second round, we got Larry Johnson, running back from Penn State, 80 star dev. We got a 76 right guard, Vince Manuwai, 76 quick, who will start at left guard. We got Andrew Williams in the third round. We got Brandon Lloyd, for those of you who remember him. Played a lot with the Denver Broncos, great spectacular catch. Ovi Magule, who I actually think was a fullback for the Houston Texans, I want to guess. 75 overall. We got Chris Dealman, a 75 guard from Indiana, star dev. Very nice. And then the seventh round, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of just looking for whatever player that name somewhat sound familiar. I thought Fred Jackson could very well come in and be a nice little tandem here with Larry Johnson. 74 quick dev. So just like that, we have reinvented the offense. And while we didn't get Andre Johnson, I think T Sizzle is a good enough get here to get everyone excited. Now, let's get into year number 2. So as we get into year number 2 here, 2003, our team's just generally looking better. We were 72 last year. We've jumped up to 78 in just one season. Dealman will be starting at guard. That's pretty much the only big change in the offense. Heitman and Langston Walker were free agency signings. No big name additions at wide receiver outside of Brandon Lloyd. Will be interested to see what he can do and carve out in the offense. Larry Johnson and Fred Jackson will be our new running backs, with Carr up to an 84 overall. On the defensive side, the front three could get a little bit better. But the back end is looking pretty nice. We got Coleman, who we converted from corner to safety. He's up to an 85. Glenn's a 92. Delta O'Neal, who we signed in free agency, is a 90. Still need a strong safety. We got Terrell Suggs starting left outside linebacker, along with Sharper Foreman and Nate Wayne. Man, this is an underrated team, because here we got 3 wins last year. I am fully considering everyone on this team and holding them up to the standard of 6 wins minimum here in year number 2. The midway point of year number 2, 2-6. You know, it's still gonna be, guys. Well, not gonna say it's gonna be kind of tough, but this year is gonna be tough. It's always gonna be, especially for the Houston Texans. Kind of going to a year 3 or bust, which is kind of what we do in the realistic rebuilds for year 5. But the team's already up to an 80, so it's, we're developing nicely, which is about all you can ask for. In terms of contracts, there's just one big name, Ryan Young, our starting right tackle, 83 normal dev. So we're going to see if we can give him an all-right looking contract here to remain as our right tackle, which we did. We're still going to have upwards of $55 million worth of cap to look at landing a couple more big-time fish in free agency. So now it's almost about kind of maybe if we can suck it out and get a high draft pick for this 04 draft. Year 2 has come to an end, and we finished with a 6-10 record, not last in the AFC South. And where our team was, I think, a 78 overall to start the year, up to an 81. So we are definitely trending in the right direction. Taking a look here at the regular season stats, David Carr, better year than he did last year. 3,800 passing yards, 21 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. We got, for a rookie, Larry Johnson, over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. On the receiving front, Jabbar Gaffney, not a bad year. 69 catches, 834 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Almost 1,000 yards for Corey Bradford. Braden Lloyd as a rookie as well, 500 yards and a tutty. Defensively, we got no one over 100 tackles, but still a strong year from Jamie Sharper. We got 7.5 sacks from Andrew Williams, our mid-round draft pick. Well, I'm not going to lie, never heard of him in my life. T. Sizzle as a rookie, 71 tackles, 15 TFLs, 5.5 sacks, and at some point, he got that, look at that, dev trade increase just randomly up to a superstar. So that is nice and makes the sting of not being able to get Andre Johnson just a little less stingy. Turnovers were average, about average. Yearly awards, Chad Pennington got himself an MVP award. In the AFC, Offensive Player of the Year went to Priest Holmes. Defensive Player of the Year went to John Abraham. No one. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Mr. Larry Johnson. Very nice for us. And Brandon Lloyd coming in number 10. Defensive Player of the Year, we got some, not T. Sizzle. T. Sizzle came in number 6, but don't care. How fitting that our guy that doesn't have really amazing stats, only comes 6th in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting, gets that superstar dev trait. So either way, pretty happy about that as we enter the 3rd and final year of the rebuild. Let's have a massive offseason and turn everything around and make this Houston Texans team a playoff contender. So for free agency, our final period, pretty much spending all the money we have available. First up is Trevor Pryce, who was an unbelievable defender for the Denver Broncos for quite some time, and he fits, our 3-4 scheme. We had Antoine Randall L., who was like Julian Edelman before Julian Edelman was a thing, the converted quarterback that played slot. He'd be a big-time get, 89 overall wide receiver. And then we got Jermaine Phillips here at strong safety, who would be a 9-point upgrade over Dennis, our current starter. All right, in the 2004 draft, we are sitting here at pick number 8. Couple interesting options looking at our team. Kellen Winslow at tight end. We have an all right tight end. We don't have that elite dynamic threat. Reggie Williams at wide receiver. You got Lee Evans at wide receiver. But ultimately, sitting here in the first round, the biggest weakness, actually technically the lowest starting position on our team, is defensive tackle. And I was like, oh, Tommy Harris. I remember he went to the Bears. He was pretty good. Look a little bit further down. Big V, Vince Wilfork. Let's go. Fits our scheme. 79 star dev from the U. 95 strength, 86 block shed, 82 tackle. Welcome as we make our playoff run. So taking a look at the rest of our draft class after Vince Wilfork, staying with the U, Kellen Winslow was still available at pick 8 in the 2nd round. He is a 76 quick dev tight end. Most notably known for that "I'm a soldier" goddamn speech, but he was pretty damn good as a rookie his first couple years before he went crazy. We got Bernard Berrien, who I think played for the Vikings and the Bears. Wide receiver, and then the rest of these guys, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm gonna have to get some sort of rule for this series if you guys like it and we continue to do it, where I should sim X amount of picks so I'm not hesitant to just constantly draft all the sleepers. I don't know, maybe we can just make a rule where I can just use the first 2 picks of any draft and draft anybody. Like, say if I know, for example, in that first year draft, Antonio Gates is a free agent. I assume he's probably high 70s overall. If we really need a tight end, I could still draft Antonio Gates, but I'm only allowed using the first 2 picks of the draft. I don't know. Again, debut episode of the series, so I'm always looking for feedback in the comments. But here is our final draft, and adding Vince Wilfork, most importantly, is a massive get for our defense and our hopes of some playoff football in the final year of the rebuild. And at the end of year number 3, with a clutch 31-28 victory, Week 17 over the Cleveland Browns, the 9-7 Houston Texans get their playoff debut against the 12-4 Miami Dolphins. We are now an 86 overall team with an 87 offense, 91 defense, runners up in the AFC South. Definitely one of the last teams to make the playoffs. David Carr, 4,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 picks, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Larry Johnson, no, dominant wide receiver. I mean, Randall L was brought in to be that, not really those numbers. But regardless of what era we do, we just know the Madden 19 sim doesn't really help out top-tier wide receivers. Jamie Sharper led the team with 97 tackles. We got 11 TFLs, 11 sacks from T. Sizzle, 16 TFLs, 11 sacks from Trevor Pryce. Vince Wilfork getting involved as well. 3 picks from Deltha O'Neal. There's a very quick look here at the early awards. MVP went to Amon Green. That's the 2nd time he won it in this rebuild. I'm very excited to go in and get some gameplay as we hope to spike a Super Bowl run here and start it in Miami.
It's Kurt, and they both come here to say, take charge of every day, stay alert.
Hi, I'm Gert. Kurt, and this is my brother Bert.
All right, here we go. We're trying to, score some points here in the first quarter. We're using as retro of jerseys as I could find because for whatever reason, the Texans are like one of the few teams that don't have retro uniforms in the game. But I remember back in the day, I liked the Texans because those red unis were fire. And there we go. On the opening drive, David Carr connects with Antoine Randall for the opening touchdown of the game. He's been eating all drive along, so here on second and goal from the 1, it's C4 special time. C4 special works in any era. You get the big time block, and Larry Johnson does the rest of the work. 14-3 Texans. Oh, look at the speed! Look at the speed! Oh, come on! Whatever. Great catch and run there. I think that's by, don't even know his name, to be honest with you. But his first name was Corey, I'm pretty sure. No, it's actually Jabbar Gaffney with a nice little gainer, setting us up in tremendous C4 special opportunity to try to tie this ball game up. After Miami has been able to score, I think that was like 10 or 11 straight points. Something that's right out of the Madden sim. You want to say something that you just don't see happen, but you do see happen in the sim. But Larry Johnson's good enough to take in the C4 special to tie this game up at 21. Well, Jason Taylor was pretty good. 4th and 1 on our 30, down 7. We have to go for it here. We got a power running back. We got a power offensive line. We're going to run right. Oh, and we get it. He punches his way through. I don't know why the play got below dead. Let's see. Did he touch the ground at all? No. Okay, whatever. We got the first down. Great tough running there from Larry Johnson. 2-minute warning. Down 7. We're on the 19. Let's go. That's what we want. This is what we want. We can't get screwed over by the sim. We're going to make sure that we hold on to possession of the ball. We're not going to get burned by any cheese. We're either going to get a touchdown, it's going to go to overtime, or they're going to rightfully stop us and we'll have to accept the L. 2nd and 4 from the 13. And then here comes Greenwood for the sack. Again, don't want to preserve any time because we're in 4-down territory. We already know Sim's going to have their way with us. So if we even do it, get any points. So 3rd and 10 on the 19, back to where we originally started. Let's get some offensive line protection. There he goes, beats the linebacker. Great catch from Jabbar Gaffney. We'll then burn a timeout as we face 4th and 2. Man, it's definitely one of those scenarios you kind of wish you had Andre Johnson. But on 4th and 2, let's see what we can do here. Go to one of the tight ends. Hopefully we'll have one of the wide receivers coming on a slant. Let's go. First playoff victory. Oh, let's find him in the back of the end zone. Just like that. Ice in his veins for David Carr. Connects with, I think his name's, Miller, the tight end, for the equalizer. And let's go. We're going overtime, and we get the ball first. Let's end it. Oh, let's go. Larry Johnson right up the middle. And just like that, the Houston Texans in their 3rd year of existence get their first playoff victory. 34-28 over the Miami Dolphins in this game. David Carr, 294 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. We got 74 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns from Larry Johnson, 7 catches, 159 yards from Jabbar Gaffney. The defensive side, we got 7 tackles from Aaron Glenn, a half sack for Nate Wayne and Trevor Price, 2 picks, 1 for Jermaine Phillips, 1 for Jamie Sharper, as we are moving on to the AFC Divisional round. All right, now let's bring in some play of the moment, see how well the team can actually fend for itself here as we are at Mile High Stadium taking on the Denver Broncos. And on the opening drive for us, we're able to put up 3. I'll take points. I'll take points any given day of the week here. Good defensive battle, 3-3 as we march the ball all the way down the field quickly, but unfortunately have to settle for the field goal attempt. But luckily, it looks like a turnover from the Broncos gave us an opportunity to get a touchdown. 13-10 right now, as we have been marching up and down the field fairly good, considering David Carr is our quarterback. As Denver gets a late second half lead, and they are pulling ahead right now. And on 4th down, we couldn't do a damn thing. We would have had a win. We would have had an opportunity if on that 4th down we took a field goal. And that's how it ends. That's Brian Greasy beats us. Clinton Portis had a good game. Larry Johnson was very good for us down this stretch. Corey Bradford was decent. They had Joe Jaravicious, Shannon Sharp, James Thrash on the defensive side. We got 3 sacks from John Mobley. Who? Exactly, no one knows. Sean Phillips was good. Okay, credit where credit's due as a rookie. T. Sizzle up to a 96 overall for us. A couple interceptions got traded back and forth here. But yeah, this is just the debut episode, guys, so I'm still trying to find out, how we can maybe make it look a little bit different than what you get in the realistic rebuilds. Obviously, with 3 seasons, it's going to be shorter, but I want to try to present it to you guys a little bit different, as hopefully you guys do like the retro experience that you get to see here in the rebuild. I hope it catches on, because this is something that I think is fun, and it will be fun for me to do in Madden 19, where Madden 19 right now is kind of painstakingly difficult and boring to come up with content. If this is something you guys like, and you like this feeling, I just want general comments and concerns in the comment section, which is pretty much usual for debut episodes of anything. But I hope you guys did enjoy. I had a lot of fun bringing it towards you. And, if it's your first time stopping by and this caught your eye, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, because most likely we'll be continuing with this series. If you liked the video, hit that like button. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's C4 saying peace out.